Hey, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Vea and this is Case by Case Divorce. If you're new to the channel, I'm here to offer you solutions, tips and tricks, validation, advice on how to get through a high conflict or abusive divorce. I'm super passionate about this. I'm now 6 years into my high conflict divorce. For the first 2 years, the stress and the trauma that I was under all the time and just the not understanding what was going on led to significant health problems like PTSD, adrenal malfunction, neurological problems. I was really sick and kind of dying because I just didn't understand what this type of abuse was. I don't want any other people to go through what I went through. I think knowing about this type of abuse and having a heads up on the system and how it works can just create such a sense of safety, and the validation that you're not crazy is invaluable. So that's what I'm here to do. That's what my passion is. I appreciate you sharing your time with me today. What I want to talk about today is the 3 top ways to minimize contact with your ex-partner. So we all know about gray rock, which is a strategy where we starve the ex or the narcissist of narcissistic supply by just not answering them or not answering them in an emotionally charged way. So whatever they throw our way, we try to just pretend that we're a gray rock and we don't give them the validation of seeing us upset or angry or even asking for anything. And that's good. That's totally a helpful strategy. But in my experience, it's not enough. Quite often, these abusers will just harass us via email or text messaging, and they'll just keep coming and coming and coming, and it wears you down. It's just exhausting to have to read those and then figure out if you are going to respond or what you're going to respond. It's exhausting and it steals from our life. So what I'm proposing is implementing these 3 strategies with the long-term goal of slowly training your abuser to contact you less. And the theory is the same. We're still just starving them of that reaction. But by setting up these boundaries in these 3 ways, over time, they're gonna stop messaging and stop contacting you as much because they're just not getting anything. So the first one is we need to eliminate verbal and text communication. Okay, so this leaves only email and communication through a third-party platform like our Family Wizard or My 2 Houses or 2 Parents. The reason we have to eliminate verbal and text communication is because it's just too fast. It's too immediate. When we're in an abusive situation and we get confronted by our abuser, we automatically go into fight or flight. We can't stop that. It's a natural, healthy trauma response. Okay, when we're in fight or flight, we don't have access to the part of our brain that helps us have an executive function. We can't think clearly, this is going to result in this. We can't get there because we're in fight or flight. So having an immediate communication with this abuser is going to rob you of power and the opportunity to have the time to process your feelings, regulate your nervous system, get out of fight or flight, and then you can use your whole brain to rationalize and look at the facts and use logic and provide a response instead of a reaction. So we cut off text and verbal communication, and that's as simple as sending an email or a message through your third-party platform just saying, "Dear so-and-so, moving forward, this will be the only way I accept communication from you." Of course, you can say, except for emergencies. We always want to have the text message available if, a kid's broken a leg and they're on the way to the hospital. We need to know that immediately, right? But barring an emergency of a medical nature or something like that, there's just no reason they should be texting you anymore. You're not in a relationship with them anymore. We don't want our phones pinging and our exes popping up in the middle of our day. Your ex is not going to listen to this boundary you've laid. They're not just going to go, "Okay, well, I won't text you anymore." They're probably going to text you more, and that's fine. You've set your boundary. You can respond to them one time if they've gone outside of the boundary you created. So you say no text, they text you. You can respond once via text saying, please reference the email I sent on such and such date. I will no longer receive messages from you this way. And then just don't. If they text you, don't answer. If they want to engage you in conversation during a drop-off, avert your eyes and don't answer. If you're having trouble holding that boundary on your own, have someone there to support you. You won't need that forever. Remember, this is a training process. They will eventually, if you stick to your boundary, get used to the idea that they can't just contact you that way, and they give up. It doesn't happen right away, but think long game here. We're going for the long game, okay? The second thing to do is to eliminate physical proximity. And we do that, like the only reason why you should be anywhere near your ex is because you're transferring your kids to their care. So it's transitions we need to work with here. Plan your transitions so that they're contactless. So if your kid goes to daycare, preschool, or school, then you arrange your parenting schedule so that one parent drops off at that facility and the other parent picks up. And there's no way for them to get close to your body or even try to talk to you or anything that way. This is tough on kids. I get it. They're confused. They can't remember. It's like, well, mom dropped me off. Is dad picking me up today? It's hard for them. And that's why a lot of people don't want to do transitions this way. And I get that. But the benefit of you having a regulated nervous system and a sense of agency and safety in your own life is way more beneficial than the ease your kid might experience by knowing the same parent's going to pick them up who dropped them off, right? We have to do a cost-benefit analysis. And the benefit of you feeling safe in your own life is way more important than your kids having a tough time with this. They're going to get used to it. It's a transition, but they will get used to it. If your child is too young and not in daycare or preschool or school yet, then you just do everything you can to minimize the contact, and that includes having other people present or just having other people do the transfer, meeting at public places like a coffee shop or even in front of the police station, and you hold the line. Don't look at their eyes, don't look at their face, and refuse to speak to them. It's literally like handing the kid over. You can focus on your kid. Bye, sweetie. I love you so much. I'll see you in a day or 2 days. Bye-bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Just pretend like your ex is a nothing. Again, this is a long game process. It's tough at first and they might push back at you, but you just hold the line. You can just send the same email. Per my email sent on whatever date, I will not be discussing anything with you verbally at transitions. You can send any pertinent information to this email address, period. So that's 2. And the third thing we're gonna do to minimize contact with your abusive ex is just stop asking them for things. Stop asking them to fix their behavior. Stop asking them to take better care of your kids. Stop asking them to drop off the clothes that they forgot. Stop asking them to put your kids to bed earlier. Stop asking them if they can switch days with you. Stop asking them if they can help out with soccer practice. Stop telling them the kids were upset when they came home because of XYZ. Stop telling them the kids need an earlier bedtime because they're not feeling well. Just stop all of that. What we're doing when we're giving this information to the abusive partner is we're assuming and we're running on the idea that this person is like us and will actually do something caring and empathetic for another person. And that's wrong. They're not going to do that. When you're giving them this information, you're basically handing them weapons that they will turn around and wound you with. It might not be in that conversation. It might be a few weeks or months down the road, but they will. The less you say to them, the better. So what to do with all these problems? The kids are coming home exhausted. They're not getting fed enough. You're missing the winter coat because it didn't come home. What to do? You solve these problems on your own, in your own house, in your own parenting time to the best of your ability, and you let go of the rest. So, ex doesn't return the winter coat, go to the thrift store and have a spare on hand. don't even bother asking them for it. Just get an extra one. Kids are coming home exhausted. They're not going to bed early enough. And put them to bed early at your house and teach your kids slowly over time. How does it feel in your body right now? Seems like you're overtired. Maybe an earlier bedtime would be helpful for you. And slowly over time, again, we're thinking long game, they'll learn to regulate that and make those choices for themselves at the other house. They'll start remembering their winter coat on their own. They'll start saying, no, I don't want to watch this next episode. I'm going to go to bed on my own. They're going to start doing those things if you model it and encourage them to notice that it feels better when they're taken care of in that way. Minimizing contact is so vital for this whole process because it's really difficult to heal from abuse and trauma when we're being abused and traumatized constantly. So any way that you can carve out a space in your time, in your life where you're safe and not getting attacked and hurt by this person is a win. This that I've proposed doesn't happen just easy breezy, super smooth. It's a process and it's a struggle, but it will yield the result of you feeling more empowered and more able to take care of yourself and your children simply because you're not being traumatized as much. You're setting up barriers of protection between you and the abuser. I really hope this video helped. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment below. Have you tried these things? Did they work? What's your take on it? Let me know. And of course, please click like or subscribe. Let YouTube know this content rocks so that we can spread it and help more people feel better and get out of this hell that is awful divorcing. And I thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Take good care. Bye.